On a quiet January evening in 2010, inside a city built on luxury, trade, and towering ambition, a man walked into a five-star hotel believing he was just another traveler passing through Dubai. He carried a small bag. He checked in under an alias. He moved through the lobby without urgency, without visible fear. Within 24 hours, he would be dead inside his room, and the final hours of his life would be reconstructed frame by frame through security cameras. In a city where nearly every corridor was watched and every passport stamped into a digital record, how could an assassination unfold so quietly? His name was Mahmoud al Mabhouh, a senior figure in the military wing of Hamas, and for decades he had lived under the shadow of pursuit. What happened in Dubai was not a public bombing or a battlefield strike. It was a covert operation carried out in silence, in one of the most technologically monitored cities in the world, and it would trigger a diplomatic crisis stretching across Europe, the Middle East, and Australia. Mahmoud al Mabhouh was born in 1960 in the Gaza Strip, a territory defined by conflict and political upheaval. During the late 1980s, amid the First Intifada, he became one of the founding members of Hamas's military wing. In 1989, he was involved in the abduction and killing of 2 Israeli soldiers, an act that placed him permanently on Israel's most wanted lists. From that point forward, his life became one of movement and caution. Israeli officials later described him as a key figure in weapons procurement, allegedly coordinating the transfer of arms from Iran and other regional actors into Gaza. He rarely stayed in one place for long. He traveled under assumed identities. He avoided predictable routines. But in a world shaped by intelligence networks and long memories, was distance ever enough? By early 2010, Dubai had become one of the busiest international transit hubs in the world. Millions passed through its airport each year. Luxury hotels hosted business leaders, tourists, and diplomats. The city was equipped with an extensive network of surveillance cameras covering terminals, lobbies, elevators, and hallways. Movements were recorded, transactions were logged, entry and exit data were stored electronically. It was not a war zone, yet on January 19, 2010, it became the setting for a silent confrontation between intelligence services operating far from their own borders. According to the official investigation led by Dubai Police Chief Dahi Khalfan Tamim, a coordinated team of operatives entered the United Arab Emirates before al Mabhouh's arrival. They arrived separately, on different flights from various European cities. They carried passports issued by the United Kingdom, Ireland, France, Germany, and Australia. In the weeks that followed, authorities in several of those countries confirmed that some of the identities used belonged to real individuals, many of them dual Israeli nationals, whose personal information had allegedly been copied without their knowledge. How had those identities been obtained? And how many layers of preparation lay behind them? The passports allowed the operatives to move through border control without immediate suspicion, blending into the constant flow of international travelers. The surveillance phase began as soon as al Mabhouh's travel plans were known. He arrived in Dubai on January 19th, using a Palestinian passport under an alias. Cameras recorded him at passport control, walking calmly through the terminal, entering a taxi, and arriving at the Al Bustan Ratana Hotel. Behind him, moving at measured distances, were individuals later identified by Dubai authorities as part of the suspected team. They did not gather together. They did not speak openly in public spaces. Some wore casual sports clothing, tennis outfits, and caps designed to appear ordinary in a hotel setting. Others altered their appearance during their stay, changing hairstyles or adding glasses. They checked into different hotels across the city and paid with prepaid credit cards. Investigators later stated that communication appeared to rely on disposable mobile phones, minimizing traceable links. In a city saturated with cameras, the operation relied on the art of invisibility through normalcy. Inside the hotel, al Mabhouh checked into room 230. Shortly afterward, surveillance footage showed two individuals entering the elevator he had used and exiting on his floor. Another pair reserved a room across the corridor from his, securing proximity without confrontation. The pattern suggested preparation and prior knowledge. Authorities later indicated that the team appeared to have advance information about his flight details and accommodation, though the source of that intelligence has never been publicly disclosed. Was it human intelligence, intercepted communication, or a simple leak? The answer remains uncertain. Inside the hotel, al Mabhouh checked into room 230. Shortly afterward, surveillance footage showed two individuals entering the elevator he had used and exiting on his floor. Another pair reserved a room across the corridor from his, securing proximity without confrontation. The pattern suggested preparation and prior knowledge. Authorities later indicated that the team appeared to have advance information about his flight details and accommodation, though the source of that intelligence has never been publicly disclosed. Was it human intelligence, intercepted communication, or a simple leak? The answer remains uncertain. The infiltration phase unfolded with calculated precision. On the evening of January 19th, al Mabhouh left his room briefly for a meeting. During his absence, cameras captured suspected operatives moving along his corridor. Investigators concluded that they likely accessed or tested the electronic locking system of his door using specialized equipment. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken lock, no visible tampering. The digital record showed entry, but no damage. In the world of covert operations, subtlety is often the most powerful weapon. When al Mabhouh returned later that night, the final stage began. Shortly after he entered his room, two individuals were recorded approaching the corridor. Minutes later, they were seen leaving. According to forensic findings released by Dubai authorities, al Mabhouh was subdued using a fast-acting muscle relaxant, widely reported to be succinylcholine. The drug would have caused paralysis, preventing resistance while leaving minimal external injury. Investigators stated that he was then suffocated, possibly with a pillow. There were no gunshots, no alarms, no disturbance reported by neighboring guests. The scene was arranged to resemble a natural death. In a hotel filled with travelers, the operation lasted only minutes. How many intelligence operations are designed not for spectacle, but for silence? The following day, hotel staff discovered his body. Initial assessments suggested a medical emergency. Only after detailed forensic examination did authorities determine that the death was a homicide. Bruising consistent with restraint was identified, along with toxicological evidence of incapacitation. The conclusion transformed what appeared to be a private tragedy into an international incident. Dubai's investigation moved quickly, reconstructing movements through thousands of hours of recorded footage. The escape phase had already begun before the body was formally identified. Within hours of the operation, members of the suspected team departed Dubai on separate flights. Cameras captured their staggered exits through the airport. They traveled to different destinations across Europe and Asia, avoiding patterns that might immediately connect them. By the time Dubai police publicly declared the death suspicious, the alleged operatives had already left the country. The mission had been completed,